place, meaning the school.
Yeah.
So, you're right about listening to your child respond, but it's how we respond after they say certain things to us, how we react at the moment.
You definitely, yeah.
If I would have said, "Are you sure this place is killing you?" then he would have went on and on and on.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere you have to just be silent. That's why they said silence is golden. I just said, okay, I'm not gonna say another word. 'Cause I'm not gonna win this battle.
Yeah.
You know, we said choose your battle with your kid. I'm not gonna win it. And when I picked him up at the school, he said it was okay. I said, see, you're okay. I don't go back and say this place didn't kill you today. I would not do that.
No, that's good. That's good recognition. Yeah. And yeah, help them. I think find solutions. Talk solutions through him. When if they do this, could you also maybe go tell your teacher before you do that if they're doing this? So just talk to him. And that's just one example. But when you talk to him, try and have them come up with solutions. And I know it's not easy. Especially it's not easy. So just kind of what the book would suggest is just that you kind of help them think through solutions. And I know it's hard.
I like the last part where you read where it says, since we often get what we expect success. I know you can do it, Hayden. I know you can do it.
Exactly.
So definitely, it's hard. And you already listened to him, and now you can let him know what your expectations are.
I do. I change it so and see how he's gonna respond. Sometimes I want to say more, but as I listen to him, I just said, this is not. I'm not gonna win this battle with him, because he's gonna go back to the same thing. But whatever happens to him, he have a tendency to. If it happened like in August, he can remember and bring it right up to the point about what the child did and why I don't really like that kid. But that kid is very mean to me. That kid is not a good kid to play with. I said, hey, then that was Dan, but he hurt me, so he get traumatized with certain things. He just remember over and over again. And I said, okay. I can stop talking. I mean, sometimes you just have to listen, and you just can't say no more.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Patience and listen. And
like you said, especially with a strong-willed child.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to I will. Let's go ahead. Step 3.
I will. All the things you will do to support success. Actively supervise the child's daily activities. After establishing the rule, parents will need to know the who, what, when, where, and why of their child's daily activities. Spot checks should be made to ensure the house rules are being followed. Parents should tell their children of their plan. B. Consequences. Parents should decide what the consequence will be if the rule is broken. Consequences do not have to be revealed to the child in advance. When implementing consequences, parents should remember that the ABCs of effective timeouts. Appropriate. Does this consequence match the Smith behavior? Brief. Is the timeout short term? Consistent. Every time the house rule is broken, consequences should be implemented. Design. What, when, where, and how. Educate. Teach children to make better choices. C. Consistency and follow through. Parents must remember to always follow through with the entire action plan. Appropriate short-term timeouts must not be shortened. Remember, consistency is more important than length of the timeout. Exactly. D. What else should I do to help ensure success? In this final step, parents should examine the problem and decide what else they can do to help their child stay on the right track. Parents should give their children positive strokes daily.
Thank you. All right, any questions on the action plan? All right, let's go on to an example. It says a 9-year-old hits the younger sibling with a tight fist, knocking the youngest child to the ground. The following action plan would be appropriate. Step 1, I love statement. Tell your child how you feel. I'll read that one. It says, I love you more than you can possibly understand, which is why your violent behavior concerns me so much. I'm afraid you may grow older thinking that violence is the way to solve problems. Tell me, why did you find it necessary to hit your brother? Is everything okay? Step 2. Oh, you said, okay.
1. Establish the rule and expect success. I understand that you see violent acts on TV, at school, and in the neighborhood. Nevertheless, violence solves nothing. It is against the law for you to hit another person, and it is against the rules of this house. You must solve problems peacefully. This means you may not hit or hurt anyone. I know you can be successful, but if you choose to break this rule, the consequences will be serious.
Okay, thank you. Step 3.
Step
3. I will all the things you will do. Actively supervise your child's daily activities. 1. I will need to know the who, what, when, where, and why regarding my child's daily activities. 2. I will monitor my children at play more closely. 3. I will call my child's school to ensure he is not being mistreated by other students or mistreating other students. 4. I will ask for a copy of my child's school records, including discipline and attendance. E. Consequences. Every time my child chooses to break the rule and hits or hurts anyone, I will implement a timeout followed by grounding from all of the items on his list for approximately one half day. If he chooses to go to the initial timeout, he will be grounded until he serves his 9 minutes timeout. Consistency, follow through. I will make sure that I follow through the consequences every time my child becomes violent. I will also follow through with the grounding for the entire half day. D. What else should I do to help ensure success? I will monitor the TV programs my child watches. I will set a good example for my child by modeling non-violent, calm behavior in our house.
All right, so that's the plan, right? So this is something that,
There's one more. 138.
I will conduct spot checks when he's at friends' houses. Every time I see my child solve a problem peacefully, I will give him a positive joke. I will help my child develop peacemaking skills, stress reduction, anger management, problem solving, etc. I will seek advice of mental health professionals.
so this is a plan that we would use to fix this situation that with a 9-year-old siblings fighting. So again, this is another way to think things through before we act, and that's kind of what the whole message is a big message, right? Think things through before we act. I'm going to write this down before I have the conversation so I can be clear on my communications and I can make sure that everything I need to talk about, I want to talk about, is talked about. All right.
I have a
Yes.
question about, say your kid hits somebody, and well, why did you hit them? It was an accident, I didn't mean to, I was walking by and I went like this or something. And it's like, you don't want to say, oh, I don't believe you, you're lying. So I mean, like, do you put them on a timeout for something like that, or you just give them a chance to like, okay, see if it happens again kind of thing, okay, we'll apologize, say sorry, because when you like it, if somebody apologizes to you for hurting you, you know?
That's it. Yeah, I think I would believe them, right? I mean, until it comes over and over. Okay, you bumped into somebody 25 times this week, you know. So, but yeah, if it's something like that, someone said if you go out of your way to trust your child, they'll prove you right. And if you go out of your way not to trust your child, they'll prove you right. Either way, they're gonna prove you right, right? So the idea is, yeah, give them that trust, give them that benefit of the doubt, right? And then, yeah, trust them, develop, and hopefully it's
I mean, should you ever say like, well, you know, I don't trust you, or I think you're lying,
I mean, if you get to a point where you really don't trust them,
We
you
do.
yeah,
We say that, we say we know you're not telling the truth, but we saw you do it.
yeah.
Or we know because the other parent
Yeah.
has explained to us, because, you know, what I mean, we saw you're not gonna stand here and
Yeah.
lie to my face.
Yeah, earlier you said about kids in school with the cameras, right?
yeah.
Kids naturally do that. I mean, if they know they're going most of us don't want to get in trouble. So if we know it's something in trouble, we're gonna try and get out of it, right? So if they prove that they can't be trusted, then yeah, you could tell them, I don't trust you. I'm sorry, I don't have that trust. There's nothing wrong. So discipline has nothing to do with trust, right? Discipline is just discipline, and then trust is something else. Some kids will say, I really don't trust me. Is that why you're doing it? Not because of that, or maybe it is, but yeah. All right, so the activity, what time do we have and how much time do we have? All right, the activity, we'll just take a minute to do the activity real quick. You want to do that? Yep. All right, it says our 10-year-old son just returned home. He's late 30 minutes past his curfew. It's obvious he's been smoking, it says tobacco. We're going to say he's been smoking marijuana. To your knowledge, this is the first time he's ever smoked marijuana. Okay, Uncle Mike smokes it, why can't I? So it says we're going to prepare ourselves for a conversation by carefully reviewing the list, working with our group. Let's see if we can answer the following questions about our son coming home, our 10-year-old, smelling like marijuana. All right. Let's take a minute to do this real quick. And then, you know, marijuana is legal in California now, so it's something we'll have to have. We'll have to have it, yes.
The next day, you probably won't even remember what
Yeah.
If you know it's Christmas, you'll be over the
You're
top.
right, you're right.
Well, what would you say you were doing wanna have this conversation, later.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to continue this conversation tomorrow, the next day, have a conversation.
So you wait to contact. Choose a private neutral location. Where will you talk to your child?
I usually
Maybe in his
table,
room.
table where she does homework, so I usually have her sit, and I sit same eye level to make sure she can understand what I'm trying to do. So,
Yeah, I would choose a more private setting
Yeah,
to the
private
bedroom,
is good, yeah.
because if you sit at the table, at the dining room table, someone
no, it's not central, it's
Someone
a
is-
little play area.
is coming back and forth, so I
A private setting.
yeah, private settings.
Someone is not the ILO state either.
Minimize distractions. What can you do to
Why do you care? Why do you care?
Turn off
Because
your cell
you
phone,
don't-
have one.
Just
Turn off the
That is
TV.
not an executable verbalization for
What
me
do you think
in this
Turn everything
situation. I'm trying to reach that,
Well,
but
he's saying-
right now, we're not there.
Okay. So work in progress.
have
right?
the other children?
We're all right, we're all right.
He's already got
I
a
love it, any questions?
right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's definitely something we have to be more aware now, considering California and what we're going on.
That's a good answer. That's a
I know,
good
you
I
gotta
did
deal with
about
it.
this, because I did never expect this in
I'm gonna put myself on the cell phone. I don't know why you're okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so, let's see. So, when should we confront our son about the situation? He just came in to the door, we give him a hug, he smells really funny. Is that the right time to have a conversation?
No,
No,
no.
no.
Yeah.
You're too upset.
You're gonna go on a timeout, I'm gonna go on a timeout. We're gonna have timeouts for a little bit while I think about this.
Yeah, so,
Now that I think about it, he's under the influence, so it's not a good time to talk to him.
exactly, that's the main idea.
I think you would either wait for the next day or wait for a couple of hours to pass through
Oh.
to, for you to calm down because
Awesome.
you're mad.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to understand what you're trying
I think the next day is much better.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
But
messing
if-
up my all of it right now.
You're gonna address it now, huh?
Now.
You need to address it now. Well, maybe, okay, what, but would alcohol be something different? I mean, if they came home, if it was.
We're talking
cold.
now. And tomorrow.
So the idea of me that now may not be the best time simply because they may not be completely there.
But I'm not.
But I understand the feeling.
Yes.
I get that. Definitely understand the feeling. Okay, so finding the right time to do it. If it, we might need the timeout now. So just find the right time to do it. It might not be now. Choose a private and neutral location. Where we're going to talk about this.
In my room.
A more private setting.
In a private setting, in my room. Yeah, somewhere where. Excellent. How can we make sure we minimize the interruptions? Well, I choose a private. We could also go out. We could take a walk. We could go, outside to a park and sit down. Whatever we can do. It doesn't have to be at home, but we can be out. And that could also fix the minimize interruptions. If I'm not in the park with just my son and I talking about this, then it's going to be a lot harder for other kids. If I do it in the kitchen table, kids are going to be coming. There are other kids, my other siblings are going to be involved with what's going on.
Lock
They're
the
going to
door.
be curious too. Huh?
Lock the door.
Yeah, you
Go in
yeah.
the room, lock the door.
Yeah, I can do it. Exactly. Develop a plan or outline. We talked about that. We talked about the action plan, right? We're going to start with an "I love you" statement as best as we can. And remember, because that's why we're doing it, right? I mean, if we didn't care, if we didn't love them, someone said the opposite of love is not hate, but indifference, right? So
Selfish.
indifference. So if the opposite of love doesn't mean, so if I was indifferent to it, I didn't care what you did, I don't care about you, do whatever you want to do, I wouldn't say anything, but I do love you, and this is why I care, and this is why we're going to talk about this. Okay. And then establish a rule. So then one of the house rules has to be, hey, there will be no smoking cigarettes, no smoking marijuana, no smoking any drug. That has to be one of the house rules so that we can address it later. As they get older, maybe as I don't know about 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, maybe still, but maybe younger kids, you don't have to make that rule. But you want to make sure that they know what we expect from them. I don't expect you to drink at this age. I expect you, if you want to drink when you're 21, just like the rule says, right? You can smoke marijuana when you're 21. That's what the rule is. So you got to remember that there has to be a rule in our house. This is not acceptable, so that they know and they can't come home. Well, you never told me I couldn't.
Well, before that too, it asks, what questions will you ask your child? And then it says, remember to prepare for your child's reaction.
ask questions you don't want answered.
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Because basically what he's
That's
saying is,
true.
Uncle Mike smokes, why can't I?
Yeah.
So then you get into what Alfredo was saying, your house rules, your beliefs. You know, nevertheless, I get it, but in this house we don't. It's zero tolerance. So, you know, anybody else can smoke, but in this house, these are the rules, and that's what we're establishing.
Okay, and then the last one, I will, all the things you will do to support success. And that's actively supervise, of course, where you're going, where you at, when you're coming home, when
So
you're
from now on, I'm picking you up right after school because you're telling me that the friends that you hang out with are obviously bad influences. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm sure I call when you tell me that you're at so-and-so's house, that you really are. You know, so basically just the examples of the who, what, when.
And on the older book, the older book for older kids, they say that one thing you can do if it's a problem is you can buy tests. If it's something that you really want to address at home, it's a problem for you, okay, then you can buy tests at the store
Yeah.
and have them there, and it can be something that you can say, you know what, spot check, you know what, I'm going to have this here. If at any point it seems like you come home and you're because sometimes they'll say, oh, of course they're going to say, no, I'm not doing anything right. Well, if something happens, this test is here, and we'll have to take this test if it comes out positive. So it's the way that you can kind of make sure that they're aware that you're aware, right? They know you're checking, and they know you're aware of that. So then that can be another tool for you. Okay.
That's what consequences, in 139 it goes on to say consequences. So one of the consequences, like Alfredo was saying, for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and test you. You know, I'm not gonna tell you when, but you will be, right? Because I care.
That's a
Zero
consequence.
tolerance, so.
Testing is a consequence.
That can be a consequence, yeah, because I don't trust you.
Yeah, because at that point you can use it as a, if they
You
come
lost
home.
my trust.
Yeah, you've lost my trust, and
T-spot
if you
after
have-
your failed test.
Yeah, definitely a consequence.